Jesus Christ. Been talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. Yeah. Genius brain move for myself. If you can hear me now, I've just been talking to myself for the last 5 to 10 minutes because I didn't realise I hadn't actually gone live. So yeah, solid start to things. I'll get there in the end. We'll get there. Let's go back to the start. We're almost at 7 PM as well, so fingers crossed we'll find out which leagues we're going to be in very shortly, which I am very, very interested in. I want to know who else is in my league. Let's go let some more people know that I'm live. Let's put that down there. Let me grab my link to... You see my channel, look at that, 99 subscribers. I just need one more. Sun will be doing a nice thing, I'm sure they will. Nice. Look, audio is a bit low, thank you very much. Let's sort that out. Full whack. I've put it on full whack, you let me know how it goes. Nice. I am having all sorts of fun and games trying to get this to work properly. So, stick that in there. Come on. That's fine. But yeah, I'm up to 6 live viewers. Very nice. If you do have any questions as you go along, guys, just bear with me. Oh, Jesus, look at that, 101. Actually, over 100. Awesome. I only started this like 3-4 weeks ago as well. That's mental. Thank you very much. Right, let's go back to the Streamlabs sort of piece of this. Cool. I am in particular looking to see if we have got our team placements yet in our various leagues, because the registration window is... Oh no, it'll be at 8 o'clock, won't it? Because they moved the deadline. We've got up until 8 o'clock, I believe. Yeah, 8 PM for us. Would that be 7 PM for us then? I don't know. But hopefully the registration is going to be finished now, so we can find out who's going to be in. Can't hear much audio on your my bad, it's okay now. Okay, good, cool. Thanks for letting me know, bro. I had no idea. I usually turn it down when I'm recording, otherwise you get loads of audio distortion when I'm trying to record through OBS. But with streaming, I wanted to try and just turn it up that bit more, and I did a bit of a trial stream earlier. What I want to find out is which leagues we're in, because I want to start doing some scouting. And my rejects team might not be the rejects moving forward. We shall wait and see. Because I thought if anything else happened tonight, if people didn't rock up, no one wanted to chat, then I'd just do a bit of a report on what's going on. That'll be tomorrow, I believe. I can't remember from last season, to be fair, season 6. I couldn't remember when we got what league we were in, who our opposition were, because I went mental with my scouting. I was downloading CSV files on every single team. If I go to my drive super quick, if you've watched any of my content, you've seen me and my relentless spreadsheets. But I was doing team scouting where I had every CSV file downloaded, and I was tracking it all and keeping it all up to date, and doing some cross comparisons against my own team and starting to plan who was playing in what team. I'm not suggesting everyone goes that neurotic with it, but where my brain likes to work. Monday evening, I believe. Yeah. I do think it's going to be Monday most likely that we'll hear this, but soon as we've got that, I'm going to be uploading all the data going to every team. I do believe if you're in a league with a team last season, most likelihood was they'd move up to your league as well with you, so you sort of stay within the same sort of sphere of various different clubs, unless there's conflicting, like you've got someone ended up with 2 teams in the same league or something. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a bit of a reflection as we go through. Now, is everyone else? I was going to see someone here. What's everyone's goals? Promotion, survival, progression? I always want progression, Ron John. Always. In my goal, in my agency at the moment, I've got a view. I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. I've got 4 clubs. I want 3 of them to be nice, with where my agency currently is at. Maybe push one into Stone, and the other one, it'll be Spark or Flint, and just be ticking along. that's where I want to be. It's going to be probably... won't be this season. I'd have 3 in ice. It'd probably be the season after if I can make it happen. But yeah, the guy testing against you, by the way. Oh yeah, Dominic. Yeah. No worries, bro. I'm more than happy to people to run friendlies. I know you were running friendlies, and I was messaging you and saying, look, do you want me to change to this formation so you can test it out? And then equally, you're asking about what sort of tactics I was playing with those particular those formations, and I didn't mind giving you a little snippet so you could sort of look at it and see how it reflected in the match engine. It's an interesting one. I quite like the new match engine so far. I particularly like the curves, especially the long shots. There's been some really nice shots being taken place. I mean, it's already been taking place in the Wender Cup, because at the moment it's not been a bad start at all. I mean, we're going into this evening with the last couple. I know my reserves team have picked up 2 wins so far. No, it was a win and a draw, wasn't it? That's right, yeah. First game 5-0 wasn't really very fair on the opposition in terms of their overall strength. They obviously just wanted to get some match reps in, but my team went into it a lot stronger than they did. I think this team's total overall's coming in at 690 for a 700 comp, so I didn't do anything to change who was playing in that. It's just who I already had in that squad. The Peacocks, I think they're 762, 761, came out against Orange Fly Seattle, 1-0 winners, fairly tight game. But the best one, the reserves drew, that was a particularly good game, but the boys pulled out a massive win again. The main team, the Peacocks, who were in for ice, came through as 4-2 winners, which puts us top of the group, looking to progress, because I think one team on 0 points, 2 on 3, and we're on 6, so with the high goal difference that we've managed to establish, what's that, a +3 goal difference? Yeah, it's coming together rather nicely. So let's come back to the chat now, see if anybody's got anything for me. So I know some people are chatting there. 4-4-2 I figured out, but against the 3... Yeah, the 3-5-2-B is a really interesting formation. It is my favourite. It really, really is. The 4-4-2 is the one I tested in the Stone Division last season when I got my Stone Peacocks promoted. It's not a very entertaining way to play, but it works. It's effective, especially against stronger opposition. But at the moment, I think all three of the clubs in particular, I can go for a 3-5-2-B, 3-5-2 flat, 4-4-2, 4-3-3, or a 4-2-3-1. So just a bit of tactical flexibility. Last season, I was kind of shoehorned into the same tactic, but I do like my 3-5-2-B. Seems to do a really good job at getting between the holes between the different lines and stuff. But yeah, it looks like some people have been doing all right with theirs. Evening, Pepteta. Evening. I don't know if we're going to have anybody jumping in who is necessarily new to MFL, but I know I'm getting a lot of messages on Discord after I've been doing a lot of content recently. Lots of questions, and a lot of the questions are stuff that, if you've done it for a few seasons now, you probably know, you've considered, and we've got lots of perspectives on. But I just thought it'd be nice to give people who are relatively new, like, well, how much rev share should I be giving up when I'm loaning? What's a decent loaning percentage when I'm looking on the loan market? Because I don't know about you guys, but I think it's bonkers what some of these contracts are on for. I mean, 67 rating Spark, very overpowered, but 15% of your rev share? 15? Given how much he's bringing home this season, if we go back to the register board, I know they've upped the rewards by 15%, but you got to Spark and you say you won the division, you give away 15%. What's that? 2,800, about 420 MFL just gone. That's almost a common pack. I don't get it, mate. And if you're loaning players, like I've got a few guys out on loan. I've got one out on a silly high contract because I got him. I was frustrated at the fact I'd got him, thinking he's crap. He's not going to fit what I wanted. This guy here, I think he's absolutely dreadful. It was like, he does not fit what I'm looking for, profile of player, whatever. I thought, I'm just going to whack him up, and I whacked him up at 10%. Just didn't even think about it, and he went within a minute. Just straight away. But this Grantees FC, I'm sorry if you happen to be in the chat, but very strong squad for Spark. Like, what's that? Sitting about 63.5 to 64, top 16 average. About that sort of ballpark. That is high batting average, but he gets promoted. He's giving away 10% of his revenue straight away to myself for nothing. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of high percentage rev share, and a lot of the guys I've got out on loan, it's game time. The best ones, we got to contract at all the clubs, is the goalkeepers. I've got a number of goalkeepers out on loan this season, but look, 0%, but 10% unless they get 20 games. I want the progression. Let's get him in, because this guy, Andreev, 23. Naget, one of my pre-season, post-season reward packs from using MFL, 21, 54 years old, 6 foot. I want 20 games out of him. Perfect. And I've just rinsed and repeated the same idea. Like this guy here, 21 years old, 52 rated. I want him to have game time, see if there's anything future with him. 20%. 10% for 20 games. And the rest of them sort of negotiated. Like this was the last pack drop. That's the pull I got. Very happy with it. Not really looking to sell it. Was happy to loan it out to Risu. They did me a massive solid getting my league license. So yeah, really happy with that one. Going loans in for ice and action high is actual pain. Yeah, it is. I think the loan market is mental. Absolutely mental. And this is why, rather than just going on the loan market itself to look for players, the best thing you can do, network. Start chatting to folk. Talk to the big players in the leagues and stuff. Like, I know Palmer was doing a podcast with, I think it was MFL Ramble not too long ago. I remember listening to it. I love listening to all the different content from MFL. And he was saying he much prefers people reaching out to him and going, look, mate, I could do with loaning and playing at this division. I'm looking for this sort of player, this sort of roles I need him to play. Are you interested in having a conversation with us? And I can point out to players that he's interested. I did this when I actually had my Stone Club that had just got promoted to Iron before I sold them and moved things around. I said, look, when you've done your teams, let me know. Love to pick your brains, see if I can pick anybody up, but I'm not going to ask him to do the legwork. I'm going to go identify players. But I started a conversation with him. As it turned out, I actually sold the Iron Club and bought the Leeds license and moved things around. And he messaged me, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I just woke up, had a message, and he went, look, my players are ready for loan now if you want to take a look, mate. But we've got a bit of a conversation starting. Well, yeah, I know Palmer talks to everyone, but he wasn't giving loads of suggestions this time. It was more of a case of he was being genuinely helpful. Yeah, I mean, I know, like, Mike, we're in that Twitter chat, that thread that you and your mate set up, and the amount of lads that have come in there who are brand new to this, looking for players, getting a bit stressed about it. Oh yeah, it's a solid guys, Palmer, but loads of new guys getting really stressed about what the deal was. Cheers, bro. Yeah, 100 subs, very happy with that now. But yeah, getting really, really stressed over, like, just trying to get the team together, should I be giving up rev share, etc., etc. And I've hooked a couple of them up myself, because I was like, you know what, I've got a few fringe players. I was going to see if they could just go out and get a bit of playing time. I'm not too worried about them. And I've thrown a few guys ways. I know the Frankfurters, Lucas over here, who's been chatting away, gave him a goalkeeper. I think he gave him a striker as well. Is that right? Frankfurters? Yeah, gave him a striker. I was like, look, and he was like, what do you want? I was like, nothing. Just give him game time where you can, especially the goalkeeper, and help people out. But you start networking, you ask for help. I do think this community is absolutely fab at helping each other out with this sort of stuff. So yeah, in terms of what my plan was tonight, it was to be about answer questions when they came through, especially if there was guys in the chat who were already experienced managers themselves and they wanted to answer questions. There's no one right way to play this game. This game is about approaching it from what you believe is the best perspective. Oh, my peacocks are playing a friendly. Let's see how the reserves are getting on. But I'm really all about just talking through things with them and just seeing how we can help out with them. How strong is this team? Fairly similar to mine. My team technically should have an edge in terms of overalls. We'll come back to you shortly and see how we're getting on. I like keeping an eye on these sorts of games. But how many clubs are people entering this season with? How many seasons? I mean, I've got 4. Because with the Iron Club sale, I go to my agency, bought my Leeds license, which I really, really wanted. Risu hooked me up on Twitter. She spotted it, got in touch with us. Look, it's here. Jump on it. I was straight all over it. Really, really thankful. And they were then the first person who came for me for my 80 rated centre-back. And I was like, look, if you're building a squad and you're going to play him, let's do it. I've got the reserves down here with a fairly strong average, best 16 average. My Peacocks are fairly strong as well. And then we've got the Peacock rejects. I mean, I say I've got a very strong squad. It's very hard to say at the moment because looking at the division percentages, it's hard to sort of work out, well, we've got a massive outlier here. I think that's a drop down from Stone, which makes sense. But the top 16, top 25% in ice at the moment are sitting at a best 16 average of 69.47. I mean, I know that's MFL manager rating, but by and large, it's your best 16 average that seems to have the highest weighting on all of this from what I can gather. So, yeah, it's just really, really hard to see what the deal is. 7 big headaches incoming. I don't know if... Oh, here we go. 4 clubs, 5, 3... Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to get on with 3, but there's 3 I'm invested in, and 1 that's just, I haven't got anywhere to send my other guys. They're crap. Let's go get some training. They're a farm team. 7 big headaches incoming. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but okay. But yeah, going into this season, I have been, if any of you watched any of my content, I have been planning like a madman. At the moment, I've got my main team when I was sort of mapping out a few ideas. The best 16 average coming in at almost 68, which I do think is relatively high for ice myself. Sitting around that sort of thing. I mean, I know last season, I think my Spark team was 62, so just below 62. Had a 72 rated team. Snake was in there, sitting at like 67, 68, best 16 average. And there was 2 other clubs. I was like the 5th best team in there. We still got promoted through the playoffs, but we got promoted. Is this the... no, that's the Wendirt game. How's the friendly going? Not good. We'll turn it off. But yeah, it's all been progressing quite nicely. So I've been sort of working these out. 7 head. This is the sort of territory I'm worried I'm going to get to. 7, 8, 9, 10 clubs. And then I'm hating my life because I'm trying to manage all these different clubs. But at the same time, I think you can tell just how much I'm into this. And I can see it happening. I really can. So yeah. Main team coming in at roughly 68, best 16 average. Should be in that upper echelon. I'm looking to try and challenge for promotion. Solid cup run. Bring in the MFL. That's the main thing. Reserves team sitting at almost coming up towards 61, best 16 average. But I've got a Spark. Again, still very competitive with what we're seeing there. 61.29. I know last season my reserves team had the best club in that division, had a 62 average. In my main team, Spark League, the best was 72, followed up by 3 other teams that were above mine, being at just under 62. So it very much is at the mercy of the MFL gods as to what league you end up getting placed in, which is, I was really hoping we'd find out tonight, but I think I agree with some of the people who've been piping up saying that doesn't seem to be the case as we go. Now, in terms of the plan, really, ideally, I've got a Flint license. It's sitting at 54 average rating. I've gone very top heavy on a couple of players. You might notice my very old goalkeeper, but 71 rated in Flint. I'm not worried about progression. I'm actually really blessed for goalkeepers at the moment if I go to my agency. Let's have a look. Yeah, Gamoka 28 actually. We've got Morsi at 70 and Gamelgard at 69, and a couple of strong youth-looking potential players behind them. So I'm not too worried about his progression there. I just want to get out of Flint. But then at the same time, I've seen some of these Flint squads that people have been sharing on socials and just going, oh crap. If it's any consolation, Zuta, I'm 35 myself, so there is that. It's all good. I'm more going old in terms of how close are they creeping towards the earliest possible age that they can announce their retirement. I think everyone's got that in their sights. I think the oldest player in my squad is 30. I've not had a single retirement notice yet. Yeah, I got a couple at 29, one at 30. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of my agency who could hand in that retirement notice starting next season. We'll wait and see. Part of the learning curve and mapping all these things out. Oldest player I can get to in theory again, into 42, something like that, because there's a maximum age they can go to, and then once they've given you notice, they give you 3 more seasons. but I can't recall. Wrong thing I clicked on there. I can't recall precisely what it is. Player management, player development, prime age. So they won't. What's that? They reach their potential by the age of 32. Sorry, I'm just going to keep. I skim read, so I'm just going to quickly skim read as I go. No, that's not the one. Players, potential and longevity. Yeah, 32 determines their retirement between 42. So it depends on when they hand their notice in. So they can give the notice in when they're 39 and they'll retire at the age of 42. But the earliest is 32 because the earliest can hand their notice in is at 29. So yeah, still got quite a bit of longevity on some of this. Main eyesight average top 16 of almost 71. That's good, mate. That's good. I mean, if you've got the players and the agency to do it, let's do it. Why not? If you want to get yourself into stone, that's the way to do it. I have a CB at 33 with no retirement age yet, so the dream is on. Absolutely. I think what the white paper is, because I've come through it many times, if he's 33, he's likely to have already got to the top of his improvement arc by the age of 32. So he's unlikely to get better. I do believe they can go down a little bit in rating, but not by much. About to increase it as well. Why not? Mike, if you've got the capacity to juice the numbers. I'll be honest, I've got a bit of a game that I'll probably play by the time that I get assigned leagues. I've got 2 clubs in ice. I have no trophies with those 2 clubs. I bought these up just this window because they're a very, very healthy price I could buy them for. And I had profit to play with. The main Peacock team got a fairly steady squad. If they happen to be in a much tougher league comparative to this Peacock's team, I can move my contracts around. It's something I can consider. If I was like, you know what, both my ice leagues, I get a favourable ice league for the reject team, I might well shuffle things around and make that the reserve team and make that the reject team and just shuffle contracts around. I want to see how my White Rose Peacocks and how they're situated and who's in their league with the Leeds licence. Because if they're going to get stuffed and I want to get them promoted, I need to have a bit of a consideration. Because whilst it's going to be a massive pain in the backside, because last year you could just press that and you could cancel contracts, you have to go through them one by one, sort of cancelling the contracts, and then you've got to type in cancel contracts in every single one. It's going to be a pain in the backside, but I'm going to keep it moving. Why not? Why not? Just coming over to the chat again. So yeah, got a few people sifting their way through. Let's have a look. I think I just had a message from someone. Let's have a quick nosy. Link doesn't work. Oh dear, FPL Cuffer can't jump in. Why is that link not working? It's from the YouTube stream thing. That's the one it said it should be working on. Let me just go send FPL Cuffer. Mike, if you're knocking around on our Twitter chat, would you mind just pinging the link? I've just sent exactly the same link again. That's not going to help, is it? Would you just mind sending the link through to FPL Cupper so he can jump on, mate? Because he said he can't access it. Is that the one? Looks like he's on it. I think Cupper's already done it already. FPL Cupper. Cool. Has we got anyone? Oh, can you tell I haven't really streamed through YouTube before? The only time I've streamed is when I used to do it for work on Facebook. So I know the general mechanics, but for YouTube's, it's been an absolute pain in the arse to get sorted. That's me, I found it anyway. Oh, cool. Yep, cool. Sound. Everyone's got there in the end. That's why. Oh, cool. Right, let's have a nosy then. So at the moment, in terms of my squads, I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do next. It will be a case of, once the clubs get assigned their league, doing the scouting. I'll go through, if I show you what I did last season, Super Week. I've actually deleted the tabs because I had a stupid amount of tabs. But I literally went to every single club, opened them up in a new tab, went to the squad page, and exported the squad to CSV file. And just uploaded everyone into a spreadsheet as I went through. They're looking very strong again this season. Oh, Jesus Christ, they've even gone higher. I hope they're not in my league this season again. Just taking the mick. But then, yeah, I know you can move to MFL Manager, you can go here, you can type in your name of your team, and you can go over to them, and they'll do this to a degree for you. I wanted to deep dive into the teams. So when I was looking at the project, it was showing me where I was in this table. I wanted to do a deeper dive. I wanted to see, okay, well, how good are the players are? Because just because they've got higher overall doesn't mean they're any good. I'm very particular about what stats I want on a particular player. Maybe it is like a fine wine Benny. I mean, if your 33-year-old centre-back has gone up from a 74 to a 76, so his tier broke as well, it might have had untapped potential. I mean, there's so many variables into this. I know I did a video a couple of weeks back on the player growth projection tool that I was playing with, and the amount of work that went into this, because there's just so much, and this ain't perfect. I mean, I'm guessing the number of training sessions, because I don't know if they were always in a club every single season. I don't know the approximate best 16 average of the opponents and of the team they were in, because that has factors on training progression. There's so much there, but even with all that, I still had an ungodly amount of calculations taking place, taking into all these variables and strength factors and God knows what else. But at the same time, I don't really want to be able to min-max MFL. The fun bit is not knowing what the deal is, not knowing what a player's potential is, but also still trying to uncover what it might be and trying to dig into it a bit further. I find it all really, really fascinating. So if people are thinking now moving into this season, what is your favourite formation going into this new engine? Because I'm seeing a lot of different answers when I've been talking to people about this. People have, I mean, don't give me away all your tactics and stuff, but which formation are you seeing that's quite favourable at the moment? Yeah, you're welcome, mate. Yeah. I mean, as you see there, it's version number 8. I've not really come to terms with, like, let's do this again. Let me try and break it all down and bang my head against a wall. But I'm going to look at it again at some point, and once I've got a bit more data, that and the fatigue calculation work that I was doing, seeing how much impact fatigue had. What have we got here? 4-3-3 attacking, 4-4, 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. I mean, I have to say the 4-3-3 attacking seems very favourable at the moment. I've noticed a lot of people playing that. Causing very high scoring games. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, given the way your players committing forward, and it depends on what formation your teams are playing. 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. What was I playing against that? I've got a formation that works really well against that. I won't give you a complete look under the hood, but I'll have a quick look. Because there's definitely a formation that works really well against it, I found. Yeah. For the narrow version, the 3-5-2 flat countered the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow really, really well. And most of the tactics testing that I did was in the Stone division against better quality teams. Admittedly, a very even level team comparative to anyone else and the much higher quality players, but I found the 3-5-2 flat works really well. But I like to rotate between 3-5-2B, it's my favourite, and one of the 4 of the back formations. Yeah, I like to look at what my opposition's doing. The worst opposition to play is the one that constantly swaps their formation as well, because you don't know what you're going into, and it's just like basically playing a game of rock, paper, scissors before you've entered a game every single time. But the 4-3-3 attacking I found to be problematic. I found that to be a really tricky formation to find a good counter to. Most games are just on a knife edge. It's just a flip of a coin every time. I mean, I know one of the Wender games I've played recently that was against someone who was playing a 4-3-3 attack. Which one was it? Was it this one? I still went for the 3-5-2B because I want to keep constantly testing that engine now. They played the 4-3-1-2. Not seen many people play that one. Let's have a look. There was definitely one. Is it the reserves team? Was it this game? Which I know we're playing against FPL Cup. But yeah, the 4-3. Still played the 3-5-2B against the 4-3-3 attack. I didn't do any scouting for my opposition for the cup and stuff. I'm just going in and just getting some reps in, and if I want to tweak things, I can. I think I was lucky in that game, if I'm honest, mate. To come away with a draw, I think you were 3-1 up. Your guy's free kick for the first goal was very, very nice. I don't know if I should put this on full screen. There we go. But a very nice free kick. I love the curve mechanics now on this. That is just quality. Absolutely quality. I'm going to watch it one more time in full motion. Because that bit of curve it does towards the end just to find the top bag. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that we've got that in the game now. And I know it was a fairly tightly contested game at one point, and then you started getting ahead of me. I think it was Fernandez who picked this one up here out of nowhere. He's one of my favourite players. Questionable goalkeeping, you might say. I think everything else was a bit mundane, to be honest. But yeah, the 4-3-3 attack is such a pain in the backside to break down with my formations. I like to rotate. 4-2-2 has been good for me against the 4-3-3 attack. I've struggled to get that one to work tactically for me. It might be the players I've also got, because I've bought my cams very specifically to play a specific role for the 3-5-2B. That might be where it's finding it a bit difficult, because I want them to be more of a goal-scoring threat than they are a supplier of goals, if that makes any sense. I favour certain stats over other ones, so that might be where I'm going a bit wrong on that one. But yeah, in terms of the clubs, this is the one I'm fascinated with. I really don't know. I think we're going to have that massive variance like we did last year. So I've made a note of it up here. Massive variance between the top 25% average rated squad to the lowest 25%, well, the top 75 technically, but the lowest 25% of strength teams in Spark last year were 54 and below on average, whereas the top were 62 plus. I do think that's going to change this season. I imagine we'll have, because we've not got Flint in here yet, so it's dropped slightly, that's dropped slightly, because people are filtering into different leagues, people are going for the higher quality players. I think this is why, again, common packs aren't selling as readily on floaty, those who've been trying to sell again, because, well, the power curve's shifting. People are after your limited, so they're moving up to commons or moving up to rare, so I think the cost of players is just going to continually creep. There'll be that power creep and cost creep as things go, but I suppose with the massive influx into Flint, there's still that bit of an interest, but a lot of people are not looking at the commons, they're looking at specifically certain commons to invest with the view to get the limited players, which makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I'm looking after cams that are basically secondary wingers as well. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing I did in one of my latest videos, was talking about like building your squad, getting yourself all set up for the new season, was focused on like how do you actually test your tactics, how do you go about doing that in a good way, and how do you go about composing a squad, because most of the people that were coming to me on Twitter, so I get a lot of technically Twitter and Discord, I get a lot of DMs, is asking questions about building the squad, what's suitable, what not, and I don't mind. I mean, I asked loads of questions when I first started and stuff. That's what you got to do. You got to keep going and asking those questions to work out the best way to proceed. But yeah, I was constantly answering questions about, well, this is how I build the squad, and tactical flexibility is so important, because if you are just stuck in a formation, something goes wrong, it starts not working in your league, and you're just stuck until the midway point of the season, and you've played anywhere from 10 to 11 games, well, you're kind of writing off most of your hopes moving forward for the rest of the season. I'm going to keep checking this because I just want to know if we've been... Oh, come on, show me which ice league I'm in. I want to know. Man, looking at my main squad, maybe evaluate a little if you have time, because what you're thinking. Yeah, I'm totally down, mate, totally down. Can you just confirm to me your manager name on it? I mean, I imagine it's going to be similar to what you're talking to me on. Right, mate, 1 second. Like that. There we go. Naming your main squad, because you've got a few. The Tuzla Aces and Mike MFC. I start in the cup, Palmer. I'll come back to you in a second, Mike. My start in the cup has been, let's have a nosy. I think the reserves in the cap 700 have got a win and a draw. We drew in the second game. We drew 3-3, and we won in the first one 5-0, but it wasn't a very fair matchup. My main team in ice, I think it's the 800 cup 762 strength squad, 761, something like that. Won against Orange Fly. We also picked up a very, very tiny win in this game here, where I do believe we were outgunned in terms of overall, but we still managed to pick up the win. 4-2 in the end. Yeah, on average, I'd say they're what, 73, 71, more closer to the 685, 690 sort of, sorry, 785 to 790 sort of range sort of team. So yeah, sitting on 6 points there, hoping for to progress through. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we can. Right, Mike MFC. Let's give it a whirl then, mate. Let's have a look. You've told me what formations you want to play, so let's have a nosy. First thing I'm going to check is how many players you've got in your squad. 21. Yeah, not bad. That's where I went awry last season. I had 22 per squad, and I was almost having an A team and a B team, and I kept swapping. But I sort of kind of shot myself in the foot with progression, because while everyone stayed pristine and fit, and I could do that because there was a lot of worse teams in my league, the progression was hampered of my first team because they just didn't play 80% of the matches, which is something to consider if you haven't seen it already. Player development. It's worth considering, because I was reading through it and I thought I've shot myself in the foot here partway through the season. Here, the player importance piece and the max XP that they'll gain. So 80%, they're getting at least 100% of it. I had most of my guys hovering closer to 60%, so I really hampered some of my top players last season. So yeah, you got 21. Got the two goalkeepers, the right back and the left back. Left back strength there. Okay. Right back is looking a little bit weaker, but you said your best 16 average was around the 60. Was it the 70s you were saying? Yeah, Palmer, very happy with how it started. I did think when I got drawn that it might be a little bit tough. Just looking for Mike, what you said your best 16 average was, because I know you posted it in the chat. Almost 71, yeah. So sitting at that 71 mark, if it's almost 71, trading penalty on this guy, he's 31, don't care. 29, don't care. 73, yeah, you've got some nice squad composition. I can see why you've top stacked at this end. That makes a lot of sense. Centre backs, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you don't go 3 at the back formation, so that's not a problem. Can that guy cover at left back? You don't need him to. No, I wouldn't have said so. Can this guy cover at CDM? Probably not. No, not with that. Not with that passing. Probably drop quite dramatically. I'm looking at your CDMs now and seeing what you've got there. Yeah, they're not bad. And given that we're looking at a best 16 average for ice, sitting around, most of your players are around that top 25, strength in the league. It's going to pay yourself favourably for some rotation here. Only 3 strikers. I would maybe say, looking at this, given the overall rough quality of your squad, good lad, good player here. He's got opportunity for a bit more progression potentially. Started to plateau. How many games has he played in his career? I'm curious. He's only had 2 seasons in game, but yeah, he's... no, that's about right. This is the 3rd season, yeah. So he's been playing since he came in. 19 and 15 games, yeah. So he's had quite a few games so far. First season, poor, bad average. Well, not the worst. You get borderline sort of progression. It'd be, what league was he playing in here when he was playing? Stone. Yeah, so reasonable progression on that guy. Okay, cool. Sorry, I like looking at progression. Let's look at this Newman guy. Do you want me to be honest? Not massively taken with him. He's a big guy. His physicality is not as high as I would have hoped. His shooting is not as high as I would have hoped. He can dribble a bit. He's got a bit of pace. Be a nuisance against lower quality players, teams in your league, but is he going to be competitive in the better teams? Maybe. Maybe for me. You could. I do think you can strengthen up front here, because you've got 3 strikers. You're gonna have to rotate somewhat frequently there, so that's going to be the natural dip you're going to have in strength. What about cams? Because I know you play cams as well. That's a strange player profile. Oh yeah, he's definitely a cam. Yeah, definitely. He could play very well at cam. Yeah, I like him. Again, these sorts of players can be interesting. He's got the dribbling, he's got the passing, the shooting's a little bit low, but it's not the end of the world. It's definitely not defensive. Again, CM, good, which he is, obviously. Kami might do okay. Peric. Yeah, okay. Yeah, not bad. He's the provider. Fair play, fair play. Why am I getting a notification on MFL Discord? Sorry, I just want to check this out super quick. It's not a match announcement, is it? No, it's an announcement. Oh, they've extended registrations, guys. Yeah, we've got another 12 hours, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to register. I think they did this last season. So yeah, the registration for Season 7 has been extended to further 12 hours. A bit more time to get ready, which works out quite well, given what we're talking about, Mike. I'm going to come to the chat, and then I'll give you my general assessment. For Cam, yeah, he looks really nice. I, personally, Mike, would suggest a striker. A striker and maybe a bit more flexibility with the camera. Because what did you say you play again? You play the 4-2-2 narrow, 4-3-3 attack. So who are you? 4-3-3 attack. Who are you wide men? I'm sure you said you play 4-3-3 attack. And do they play? Yeah, 4-3-3 attacking. Let me just go to a squad, just to re-familiarise myself with a club. Here we go. Go to a tactic. 4-3-3 attack. The right, yeah, the left and right wingers. Yeah. I'm not seeing where your 4-3-3 attack is. I don't see the wingers. Am I missing something? You just stick to a 4-1-2-1-2. Fair. Hey, Cole. Right, alright, fair play, mate. Yeah. I was just thinking if you just, yeah. I mean, if you've got the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, you've got 4-2-2 in the bag as well, if you wanted to deploy that. That's not too bad. But yeah, I think, looking at this, I like your centre-back options. I like full-back and your goalkeeper options seem fairly steady. Yeah, steady goalkeeper options as well. You've got a nice training dynamic going on there with the higher end players helping really pull up the average, and your players are quite nicely clumped together. You should be highly competitive. It would be the striker. I just think you either want someone who's going to get the regular game time, because this is your 30-year-old who, very competent player, long term, probably not. He's got progress. He seems to be ticking on a little bit, so he looks quite interesting. I'd look to pair someone up with him and have him as your primary rotational striker, and keep Newman as your emergency, your cup, your throwaway game, your against the lesser opposition. You chuck him in to just give him some minutes and rest some players. That's where I would choose to invest a bit more effort in the team and stuff. But other than that, a very nicely composed squad. Rev share's only at 3%. Where's that sitting? With this guy here, yeah, he looks quite good, to be fair. I like that particular metric. Decent physicals, high defence, dribbling, passing. Don't really need a load of pace there. Decent size and stature, yeah. I think that's a fair, steady loan. I personally wouldn't recommend anyone going above 20% total rev share for their squad. I'm lazy with my squads. I don't loan players in for one most of the time. But my rev share's high because I can never be bothered to take off change 2 to a 0 for my own players. So yeah, I think that's a fairly well put together squad, that, Mike. No. Which players are you most hoping as a standout? Right, Palmer, you've asked me a few there. Let's go. Fair enough. I was going to be a striker, and then I want 1 or 2 new CMs. Some shit in the bed and never test. Let me have a look at this Alex Sinko, and I'll come to your question, Palmer. Have I jumped off your team? Let's jump in here. I want to have a look at this Alex Sinko because I'm curious now. CM, CDM, and right. Okay, interesting player profile. That was the one I picked up earlier. Let's have a look. Can I just come on? Let's put him on MFL player info. Let's have a look at the breakdown there. So I'm not doing estimations. Because I suppose if he's shit in the bed, it's like, okay, well, how is he being asked to play? What sort of dynamic is he looking to play? Is he a holding player? Is he sort of an engine? Are you looking to be creative? It's like, what is that role for that player? I would, as soon as I start seeing players playing poor, I start looking into that straight away. So as a CM and a cam, he's adequate. Yeah, more than comfortable for this style of league. If he's playing CM, his defensive attributes aren't the best. The physicality for the winning the duels is not fantastic, but he's got the dribbling, he's got the passing. As a CM, I think he's very good. As a cam, could be better because he can do the passing. He's not going to get into lots of space. He's not going to win duels, and he's not got the shooting. Because if I show you the profile of player I've got in my cam, which kind of lends itself to a degree of what Palmer was asking me a moment or two ago. This chap that I brought in recently, he's got the high pace, he's got the high shooting, high passing, high dribbling. I know he's not going to win the duels, but with the way I like to play my cam, I want him picking up holes in front of the defence or breaking beyond my two strikers. So because we tend to play against two striker formations more often than I don't, and I overload them a lot. So like last season, I think my cam last season was Fernandez, and it played dividends. He got so many goals last season. I mean, 13 goals and 8 assists in 18 games, because he kept breaking the lines. And it wasn't just him picking up goals, my strikers were getting assists from him as well, because he was just a nuisance. I was very happy with this signing as well. He's got the pace, he's got the shooting, he's got the passing, the dribbling. Again, he's not got the physical attributes, so he's not someone I'm going to look to play at centre mid, even though he can play at centre mid. I've actually tried him out of striker as well, and he performs pretty well, to be fair, because he's a bit of an all-rounder. Who I'm hoping for like new player, I want progression, was someone I didn't have in my squad last season. We'll come back to Fathy in a second. Yeah, performs adequately at cam and striker, drops down as a CM, makes a lot of sense there. But the player I'm most happy with, or excited about hopefully for some progression, can't move below Matos, because even though I've not got him, he's 19, he's got a nice profile for me. He was packed in the latest pack drop. He's gone to Risu on loan, who's actually started to put together a fairly competent squad for his training, penalties and stuff like that. Overall's marching out fairly nicely. I think he'll probably hit a little bit of a penalty there, but he's going to get regular game time because he's going to be a star there. And she also helped, well, he or she, I'm not actually sure, helped me out with getting the Leeds license, so I'm happy with that. Suetas, I really want to see some progression in him. I got him last season. I think it was Ron John's rigged giveaway that he does, which, top man. I picked him up from that giveaway. He played last season, he was out on loan. I pulled him into my Stone squad and he started performing really well. Pre-season, he's constantly scoring, his shooting just being that high. He's like my Harry Kane. He doesn't do a whole lot. When he gets it, he shoots, he scores. He's so consistent, and some of the long-range goals he's getting has made me reconsider the sort of tactical instructions I'm giving him. Any young lads showing sign of progression? Last season, I think my biggest progression player, let's just do it for last season. Current season, that's not going to work. How about last season? All time. Weeks, try weeks. Overall, that's not going to work either. I know last season it was... Where is he at now? Why is he not showing? He's definitely in my team. Sorry, I'm trying to look for someone. Yeah, it's not ranking it in the right order. I know last season it was Backman. He went up plus 5 last season. He had a massive just growth curve, shot up as we progress and move forward. Who I'm hoping to see a lot of progression from is this lad who I've chucked in the dev centre for 4 seasons. Got him in my post MFL rewards common packs. I just did 20 common packs. I've got a video on my channel to see what value I got from it. Arguably the best pull. 17 years old, fairly all-rounded. That defence needs to go up. He's going to be a centre-back though. And I've just chucked him in dev centre for 4 seasons, see what happens there. I did the same with a goalkeeper as well. 52 rated goalkeeper is a bit short but chucked him in the dev centre, see how he gets on. There's some other just interesting young players that I've got knocking around that are just going into my Flint Leeds license that are quite interesting, that I'm really excited about. Who else would I go for here? Because I've got a decent amount of young players. Where's that left back? Because I'm going to be testing out some more for the back formations a little bit more, because I've got options in my repertoire. I'm interested to see how I can get this guy motoring, because I picked him up last mid-season transfer window, and I don't think he's had a large amount of growth yet, but if he can tick on quite nicely, he would do pretty well, I reckon. Alexander, who's been shit in the bed in every test game I've played so far. He's literally on default tactics, box to box. If he's on default tactics, maybe he wasn't very mobile. Maybe restrict his freedom so he's not roaming around as much. Get him to play more high-risk passes. Try and just be that I'm not going to move around a lot, but I'm going to get the ball dispersed across the team and get it onto the people who can carry the ball a bit more. But again, it's a hard one to devise perfectly because it also depends on the tactic and how you've sort of composed that together. As to how I'd recommend you do that. Well, we're not getting progression on Marchese because apparently it's not loading. But yeah, I mean, overall in my agency, this is where I reached out to you, Palmer, at one point when I had the stone license that was going into iron. I was like, unless I throw money at this is not going to go anywhere. So I hung fire. I picked this guy up this post-season window, and I just thought for his rating and the sort of composition and stats he had, I was like very intrigued. He again, if it'll actually show me progression at some point, are you going to show me? No, let's go to the player page and sod you. Oh, it did. He's sort of had a bit of progression at the start of his career and sort of petered out, but his composition stats, I just think he's really, really interesting as a CM and as a CDM. Yeah, he could have the higher defence, but the dribbling, the pace, the shooting, he'd be ideal at a cam if his passing was a bit higher, and he's really physical. So yeah, I like the idea of him as a CM. I think he's going to do particularly well. I like my left mid. I love the 90 pace on him, and his shooting, his dribbling and his passing. He's been doing very well in pre-season with the games I've sort of played here and there. And where is he now? The striker I got last season as well. Let's go to forward. Let's go to positions. Let's find him. No. Brother. Finally tier broke. He started out as a 63. Last season I went up to a 65 in Spark. So again, not best sort of teams playing the games, but I like this makeup of the pace, the shooting, the physicality. If he can keep just marching on a little bit further, he could be quite tasty as well. Let's go back to the chat, so I'm not going to leave this too much longer. No. Now, to be honest, this stream has never really turned into a Q&A so much. People just generally having a bit of a chinwag, which I'm totally down with. It's been nice to have a look at someone's squad and chat to them about it. Yeah, a bit more food for thought as to what we might want to do moving forward. I know Mike and I have been chatting about potentially doing something together, which I'm totally down with. I said to him earlier, I said, look, I just want to give it a whirl. Let's give it a go tonight, see how it lands, see what people are interested in, and go from there. Yeah, I like that CDM Palmer. I really do like him. I think he's got a lot to his game that could be quite interesting. So yeah, fingers crossed he's going to tick on quite nicely for my main Peacocks team. But yeah, I'm a little bit top heavy in a few places. I've got an ungodly amount of goalkeepers, which I'm just trying to shift some on. But I don't like to sell too early. I like the idea that they could become something, which I suppose is the curse of this game. I've got a ridiculous amount of right backs because of the preseason pack stuff as well that I got. But yeah, overall, happy with where the agency's at. Depending on how things pan out this season, and progression will be based on what I'm likely to do next. Do want to get 3 of my teams up to ice minimum, and then the other one I'm not too worried about. But I just want to find out who is going to be in my league to then plan accordingly and then start mapping out, okay, which matches I need to make sure the team are prepped for, what sort of formation I want to play against them, making sure there's rotation there, where the rotation can take place without hampering performance. I just love all these aspects of the game. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there, guys. I've been on for just almost an hour now, but if you have joined, really do appreciate you joining me tonight. I've had fun. I love talking about this game. I want to talk about it all the time. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. You'll find me at Big Mr. K on there as well. You'll find me on Twitter under the same handle. I believe all my handles are already on my channel. We'll go back to my channel now. How many subs are we up to? 102. Considering I've been doing this for about 4 weeks, I'm very, very blessed with that. Thank you very much. So yeah, good luck if you are playing in the Wender comp this evening. Hopefully your games have gone well so far. We've all got one game left by the looks, and then see how it goes from there. Good luck. Make sure you are definitely registered for Season 7. It's been moved till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Got just over 12 hours now to get registered. Make sure you've got your squad composition together. You've got some rotation. You aren't giving up silly rev share. Just don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, I'll speak to you in another one. Cheers, guys.